Or do I have to click continue?
All right. I think we are live. Let me just double check in the group. How is everybody doing today? Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is Migraine Strategy Call Day. I am so excited to be here with everyone. We have a special guest on today, Andrea, who is days away from graduating from the Freedom from Migraine method, has joined us today to tell us about her migraine freedom journey, where she started, what her time was like in the program, and how she is doing today. So Andrea, thank you for joining us today.
Sure, of course.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, ladies, I have comments up. It looks like our closed caption is even going today, which is always exciting when that works. So please let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from and how you're feeling today. I'd love to know if everybody's having a good day today or if you're struggling a little. Let me know in the comments while we chat with Andrea, and I will keep watching back and forth. So if you ladies see me looking down, it's just because I'm checking out the comments at the same time while we're chatting. All right, Andrea, let's start with a really easy question. How about you just tell us a little bit about your migraine journey and actually what brought you to us in the first place?
Well, I had my first migraine when I was 13. I was roller skating, and apparently it was brought on from the flashing strobe lights. And I ended up in the hospital for a week in Boston. And the top neurologist was, giving me all kinds of tests and whatnot. And that was the first one. That was bad. And from there on, I had not as bad a headache as that. I have headaches. I had headaches, but nothing as severe as that. And they've just been since then. I didn't actually realize until I got in the program that some of the headaches that I was having are actually migraines. I just considered a migraine when I got an aura, and then my head hurt so bad that I just had to go to bed for like 8 hours. But now I know better than that. Let me see.
So you've been struggling for quite a while then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And recently, in the past, I would say 2 or 3 years, they've gotten worse, mostly around, the cycle time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying the triptans, but they don't work. So
no, exactly.
Yeah,
let me unpack a couple things that you just said, because I love it. First thing, that you didn't realize how much of the head pain that you were having was actual migraines. Mm-hmm. And I think that happens a lot with the women in this group, because I hear it almost every other phone call that I have with somebody, oh, well, my migraines didn't start until I got closer to perimenopause, but I had headaches growing up. So those are migraines, that's what they are, as Andrea said. And you don't have to have an aura. You don't have to be throwing up. You don't have to feel dizzy for it to be a migraine. And in the Freedom from Migraine method, we use a level 1 to 10 is how we score our migraines. So 1 to 3 is what most people consider a headache. It's annoying. You might take some Advil, you might take some Tylenol, it might go away. Those are those headaches. 4 to 6, you're like, okay, I think I might be taking my triptan. Not sure, but I think I might be taking it. I don't feel well. I'm grumpy. And then that's 7, 8, 9, you're in bed. You're just in bed with the lights out and, the darkened shades and the ice on your head and everything else. And then 10, you're headed to the hospital. So that's how we gauge a migraine. So for any of you in here that are saying you feel those headaches, think about that chart and think about what Andrea just said. Andrea, you have quite the amount of people that are on today. It's wonderful that you all showed up.
That's good.
Yes, Fatima, my virtual assistant.
Help some people, because this is
absolutely.
Something so, I want to say simple, but that it's just, it just works. It's amazing how it works, because you expect something so much more complex, and it's just something so, it's not simple because the sugar was high, but
which we'll talk about, But
No,
So before we dive into the next question, let's just say hi to everyone. So we have Fatima, my virtual assistant here, which is amazing. We have Jamie on. Jamie, thank you for joining. Jamie is a new member of the Freedom from Migraine Method. We have Chris on, which is great. So ladies, thank you for joining. So Andrea, you just kind of mentioned that simpleness. So what things did you try in the past? What have you tried that didn't work before you joined the Freedom from Migraine Method?
just basically, you know, Excedrin, Advil, Tylenol. That was basically it because I didn't know what else to do. I had no idea what else to do. And then of course the triptans that the, you know, doctor gives you, but I mean, they once in a while they would work, but mostly not. So then those are probably the three things I tried. And then of course, laying down in a dark room once it came on. Yeah, that was it. Cause they just like slam me pretty quick. It's not like, I don't, at least I don't recognize like, oh, these little things are happening and this might end up with a migraine. And I don't notice those things. It's just now I get, my aura now is visual. 10 years ago, it was my limbs would go numb, or one of them. But so that's how I know now that it's coming. And it's scary, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
The aura, and I'm like, then I have an anxiety disorder as well. So that kicks in with the migraine, and yeah, then that just gets ugly.
Absolutely. And that's something that's very common. So I'm glad you brought that up. Anxiety definitely goes hand in hand with migraines. And it all stems down to that gut health. So if for any of you who have had a conversation with me or have been following for a while, you know that we talk about gut health quite a bit. And we're actually talking about that this week. So if anybody has missed the posts that have come out this week, we have a gut health guide that's available to any of you that would like to learn what that connection is between migraines and gut health, or for any of you who are experiencing gut health symptoms. You know, are you constipated? Do you have diarrhea, gas, bloating, brain fog, thinning hair, dry skin? All of those things are gut health issues. But the reason that we're talking about gut health so much is, one, because when we fix the gut, we can work on fixing the migraines, but also because so much of our serotonin is created in the gut, and we need that serotonin. That's our happy hormone. That's our happy neurotransmitter. We need that to keep anxiety at bay. So when we don't have that neurotransmitter, no matter what we do, we can't keep the anxiety at bay. So one of the things that Andrea is working on, has been working on in the program quite a bit, is really shifting her food plan. And the more that we can shift that, the more that we're going to impact that anxiety. So it's like getting a program for two things in one. Yeah. And we'll talk about in a minute the things she's shifting.
Whoops,
yep,
sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I
you're
thought
good.
that serotonin was in your brain. I didn't know that it was in your gut. So
yep, and absolutely.
And
some of it is,
I was like, wow.
Exactly. And some of it is created in other places in your body, but the majority of it is created in your gut. And that's why we see so many people in America now that are having such anxiety issues, because of the amount of the one item that we eat, that we all want to continue eating, that Andrea is still working on. And what is that one item that we need to keep working on, Andrea?
Sugar. I'm a
we
junkie. I'm a sugar junkie.
And it's not easy. Sugar is not an easy thing to give up. But it's something that we work extremely hard with you on in the program. And, you know, for some people, it could be quick and simple, 2 weeks, and they just set it aside. And then other people like me and like Andrea, it took a little bit longer. You know, I had a very hard time wanting to give up my sugar. But finally, once I did, now I can actually enjoy having a treat every once in a while and really enjoy eating it versus feeling I have to have it. Right. So there's the big difference between the two. So, okay.
And now it doesn't taste is good.
Yeah.
Shockingly, is kind of when you're not eating it, and then you have something like that cake that I ate. It's not only is it not, you're thinking like, oh, this isn't really that good, but it wasn't worth it.
Exactly, exactly. And we've had so many people in the group say that, like they grabbed for, not to pick on Hershey's, but they grabbed for a Hershey's bar and they're like, oh man, I used to think that tasted phenomenal. And now it doesn't. So, your taste buds change, which is what we're looking for. We want our bodies to love those savory foods and those, have those other taste buds really come out, because those are the foods that serve our body, that fuel our body, that help get rid of migraines. So we're not anti-sugar in this group. So I don't want anybody to go running for the hills and everybody start leaving the group.
I was tempted, but I didn't.
But we do have to focus
told
on dialing it back, right? We have to focus on bringing it back and learning how we can be in control of sugar. I think that's what the important piece is what that we can make that choice instead of sugar talking to our brain and making that choice for us.
Yeah,
absolutely. So besides the sugar, let's get back to the Freedom from Migraine method. So why did you decide, after trying to do this for so long on yourself, by yourself, with, taking the triptans and all the other medications that you were taking, what made you decide to give the Freedom from Migraine method a try?
I think it was divine intervention. I was scrolling through Facebook one day and then I saw your face, and then I saw talking about migraines, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I started reading it, and then I was interested. I was just showed my husband. And yeah, then I ended up setting up a call with you because I wanted to know more. And me and my husband had the call with you, and then we decided that it was a good thing.
Absolutely. And it was so great to be able to have a call with a spouse. For any of you who haven't had a call with me yet, it's wonderful when you can bring somebody on who is such a part of your health journey, such a part of your life, because the two of you got a chance together to learn how you had been feeling, and your husband probably heard some things come out of your mouth that maybe he hadn't heard before, how much migraines were affecting you, and the anxiety, because I obviously maybe asked some different questions than what you and your spouse talk about sitting around the dining room table. But it's good for them to hear that. And then it's good for them to be a part of the journey, because that is part of the success, isn't it? When we know
it is
that they're going to be supportive of you, and, that you will be making some changes. Because I'm sure it's got to be difficult if he's sitting next to you on the couch eating a bowl of ice cream and cookies, and and that's something that you're trying to.
It is, but he's so good. We went when we go grocery shopping together, because I hate it, so he comes with me, and I'm like, oh, do you want some cookies? Because he loves his little treat before he goes to bed, the cookies and milk, or pie or cake or whatever with milk, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to tempt you. So he doesn't want to have that stuff in the house, which is nice, because not that I'm not so big on cookies, but other things I can, like, I don't need like the bars, the granola bars that they eat, because I don't like those. So those don't bother me, because I have 2 kids that need to, eat like not normal food, but sometimes junky, other than my son. But yeah, and then my husband's super supportive. And I think a hard thing for the husbands is that they don't know what to do. They see you and you're suffering and you're in pain and you're moaning and you're throwing up. And, he's, bringing me ice packs and asking me, oh, you want some ice water? You want some Gatorade or whatever, So they don't have the pain, but it's not easy on them either, the partners, because they don't know what to do. They can't fix it.
Absolutely. And when somebody has a migraine, in my opinion, the whole family has a migraine. I had migraines for a decade, a little over a decade, and my kids were young. So it was really almost like my kids, they were living in a migraine household, because half the time, mom was sitting them in front of the TV, because what other choice did I have? I'm watching them. Nobody else is around.
Right.
So instead of letting them run around and, get into things they shouldn't get into, it was, here's another show. And I regret those days big time, but you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know then. You can't get them back. So for those of you who are watching and you have young kids, it doesn't have to be that way. The iPads, the TV, it doesn't have to be the babysitter. you can get back to actually being able to take care of your kids and not being in a dark room. So, all right. So you're in the program, you're going through, you're learning so many things. What do you think your biggest aha moment was in the program?
My biggest aha moment was the first Freedom from Migraine method call, the Zoom, the weekly call. Having that group of people that are going through the exact same, I mean, a little different, obviously, but it, you know, the migraine thing, it was amazing. It was just like, wow, there's, you know, because when there's something, you know, like wrong with you, you think sometimes you think you're the only person. Like, I'm the only one that, you know, this is happening to, or the way that it's happening, or the things that happen. But once I got on there, I was like, wow. And everybody was so nice and helpful and supportive. And I think that was, my biggest aha moment, I would say.
Yeah, is that there are women out there just like you that are looking for those same results, trying to get to the same place, and have tried a lot of the same things that you have and weren't finding the results. So it is nice to know when there's somebody else out there that's going to be there to be your cheerleader, but also be there if you need to, you know, do a little commiserating if it's a bad day. But then very quickly, because, you know, we believe in being able to let our feelings out and talk about it, but then very quickly bring us back up again, you know, because
it can get depressing. It can get depressing having migraines. It's just a downer. You know?
Absolutely.
People there, and they always would, like build you up. So if you were depressed, then, you know, you'd feel better after like reading people's comments and that kind of stuff. And the other aha moment was definitely the sugar. I had been told, you know, I'm 52. So over the past, I don't know, probably since I was 25, maybe, two other doctors have told me up to not, you know, to give up sugar. And I was just like, yeah, okay. Like you're just, you know, one of them was like a tennis nut. And I'm like, oh, you're just like a health nut. And the other one was a chiropractor. And I thought, oh, you're just like, you know, one of those over the top healthy people. And I just kept eating sugar. And now I wish I had stopped eating sugar 25 years ago when I was first told. Well,
let's face it. It's everywhere, right? It's everywhere we go.
Oh, it's amazing.
You know, it's in every advertisement, TV, magazines, you know, every store that you go into, every end cap you see. I mean, you go into stores that don't even sell food and they sell candy.
Yeah.
You know, an auto parts store, we sell candy. You know, a card store, we sell candy. Yeah. You know, so everywhere we go,
there's food.
So you assume, you know, even though in the back of your head, you kind of know it's not good for you, you assume it isn't that bad for you because it's everywhere. So it's very hard to break that connection in your brain, you know, between the fact that this is something that lights up my brain, you know, just like like cocaine can light up your brain. So I think it's really good to that part of your brain that's telling you, you know, this isn't so great for your health. It's okay for a treat every once in a while. It's okay every once in a while if you really would like to indulge in something, but not on a daily basis like we're doing. So I think that's an aha moment for many people, realizing how much sugar you eat, because I think you were surprised, Andrea, and I know I was a couple of years back, even being a health coach, when I did a clean out of my house because my son had Candida. And for those of you who don't know, Candida is a yeast overgrowth. We all have Candida in our body, but the issue comes in when we have too much, and Candida is fed by sugar. So we did a sugar clean out, and it was like, how did I get all this sugar in my house? When did it sneak in? Because it sneaks in salad dressings, it sneaks in spices, it sneaks in things you just don't realize.
It's crazy.
So it is crazy.
And once you start making, like I started doing with the salad dressing, started making your own, it actually tastes better than the store-bought with the sugar in it anyway. So
absolutely. And for those of you watching, which a whole bunch of other people have jumped on, so thank you for doing that. We have let's see, who do we have on? We have Angie, we have Michelle, we have Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, you are from Rochester, New York. Kimberly, so am I. I live in Penfield. So Kimberly, tell me where you live. That's really cool. I love it when I find people, you know, we help people all over the world. We have people in the Freedom from Migraine method that are in the UK. So I love it when I find somebody who's right in my own backyard.
That's cool.
We have
Yeah.
Michelle on, we have Bridget on. Bridget, how are you? Good to see everybody. So let's talk about how things are now compared to before and what you're doing a little differently. So how is your life different now as compared to before the program?
Well, before the program, I had nothing to follow. I didn't know what to do. It was just, a migraine would come and I'd be like, oh, and I'd just be like, oh, here's another one, and didn't know what to do because nothing, like I said, the triptans didn't work, and all I could do was go and lay down and just, be in pain until it went away. But now, the last time I didn't have a migraine, when did I start? In February? I think March, April, May, June. I think March, sorry. I think the March, like 22nd or something. And then I didn't have a migraine in April or May. And then in June, it was my son's birthday, and I decided I would eat the chocolate cake. And I had been exercising. I started to slack off, and you can't slack off. That's that's the thing about slacking. But it's just, once you start doing the things and you start to feel better, don't stop doing the things, because then you're going to go back to not feeling better. I don't know where I was going with that. What was the question?
What you're doing different now compared to before, and how you feel.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I feel now that I've done this, I feel that, there's an end to it. I mean, before, this is going to be the rest of my life. I'm going to be, since I was 13, I've had migraines, and it's going to be until I die. And that was a downer. But now I know that, no, that's not the case. And this helps and did it. And I don't have to worry. I still, because it's new, I still worry about it a little bit. But before, I wasn't even going out, because I was like, what if I'm out and I get a migraine, and then I get that visual disturbance? And not that it affects my driving, but I can still drive. It's just, I can't talk. And it's all like gibberish, and that freaks me out. So now, I guess I'm just not as scared anymore of getting them.
Absolutely. And part of that is because of the success that you've had. You've had months with no migraines. And even though you just had a migraine recently, why.
Exactly.
And that's the key thing, because, let's be honest, ladies. I can put anybody through a 4-month program and have them, have success at the end, but we're all human beings, and we are all going to have time where birthday cake tempts us, or where we don't get a good night's sleep, or we maybe don't exercise as much as we should during the week. But instead of calling those slacking moments or moments of cheating, they're moments of learning. We're learning what our body is ready or isn't ready to handle. So Andrea learned her body's not ready for chocolate cake yet. And we're going to hold up on the chocolate cake for a while. But if we continue on with what you're doing, and you continue using the program and doing the pieces of the program, as you build that threshold and increase that space, eventually a piece of chocolate cake is not going to give you a migraine. You're just not there yet. For some people, that transition happens faster. Every person's body is different. Every life experience that your body has endured is different. And everybody enters the program, at a different phase, and works the program at a different phase. So, for anyone watching, please know that it doesn't mean you can never have cake again. It doesn't mean you can, not have sugar again. It doesn't mean you can't go on vacation and maybe, not do as many of the pieces of the program as you would normally do. It just means that your body needs a little longer to build that threshold so that you can live more like everybody else, right? Because your thresholds are still like this, so you don't have a big space to do a lot. But what we work on in the program is making that threshold this big, so that the chocolate cake is here, the not sleeping well is here, then maybe you got in an argument with your spouse and you're a little stressed here, but you still have more space. So that's what we're working on, which is wonderful. And Andrea's getting there. She's 100% getting there. You've made that space so much larger than when you started.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
So If we had not crossed paths, Andrea, if we had not crossed paths about 4 months ago, what do you think today would look like for you?
I would still be living in fear of getting a migraine. And even though I know a lot of people have them every single day. So when I first started, I was kind of like, not that I felt guilty, but I felt like, oh, I feel like I'm only getting one like once a month or twice a month. And these other people sadly have them every single day. So I kind of felt like, should I even do it? But then I'm like, you know what? No, I need to do it because this is how my migraine is. And it's not like everybody else's. And I just wanted to say that when I did get the migraine in June, I actually had the two, one on a Tuesday, one on a Thursday. The one on Thursday, since I took 2 triptans on the Tuesday, and I was going back and forth, debating, like, do I want to take one? I had it open on my lap and I was looking at it and I want to take it. I don't want to take it. And then finally I just took it because I get scared. I get like nervous. I was out. I wasn't home at the time. So I took that, and then, the migraine still came anyway. And then I have the brand that I have to wait 4 hours before I can take another one. So the first one didn't work, of course. So then 4 hours later, I take the second one. That one doesn't work. And then around, I don't know if it was maybe like 3 hours after that, I popped some Advil. And then in the morning, it was finally gone. But then, the triptans, they make me feel like crap for like three to 4 days after, I would say. And I don't even take them that often. But yeah, they just make me feel really awful. And so on the Thursday, when I came in the afternoon, and I felt it coming on, so I did the Erin shot. And I didn't take a triptan. Not that the Erin shot made it would go right away, but I still went and laid down, but I would say it was gone within 3 hours as opposed to, 8 or 10 hours like usual. So.
Wonderful. Yeah. So in the program, you've learned tools that we know work for you. Now I know everyone's going to start asking me about the e-shot, and I'll be 100% honest. It's something that we talk about in the program because it's something that we really need to make sure you're taking at a time that is appropriate for you. So it's not something that I can just blanketly talk about to everybody, because I wouldn't want to give any advice that's going to create a migraine for someone. Because for this, at this particular thing, the Erin shot is right for certain people at certain times and not for others. So I'm not about causing more pain, that is for sure.
No.
But it's wonderful that not that you had the 2 migraines, but it's wonderful that you were again able to experience the difference between what happens when you take the triptan because you were nervous and you were out and you really debated back and forth, to trying something that you're being taught. And, once the migraine starts, let's face it, there is no magic bullet to get rid of it.
Right.
So the whole point of the Freedom from Migraine method is teaching you how to not have the migraine start. But we also give you tools to try to lessen the severity and duration once it does start. It's not going to make it instantly go away most of the time, but we give you those tools to at least dial it down. And the reason we teach you those tools is so that eventually you don't have to take the medications. Because we're not anti-med in this group, but we're anti-med for life. When a doctor hands you a prescription, in my personal opinion, they should also be handing you information on how to be able to stop taking that medication, how to get to the root cause of the problem. And that's what we do for you. Take the meds while you need them. We're going to teach you what happens to your body when you take them. We're going to start teaching you how you can get your body ready to go off of them, and then work in conjunction with your doctor to safely do that. So please, nobody stop taking their meds today without having a conversation with your doctor. Plus, you don't want to be in pain, right? Let's learn the tools first, and let's get our bodies ready first. So Andrea is so close to being able to not even need those because her body is really, really ready to do that.
Yeah. And I've always myself have been, I never liked taking medicine. So I just don't like to. So having something like this that's natural is so much better. And you don't have like the medication hangover or whatever you want to call it. Because those triptans, they kick my butt. Like for days I'm exhausted and I get a little bit of anxiety that I can, feel. And it's just, what do you call it? Like a foggy head or something. I'm just like wishy-washy. I don't like them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, any medication does that too, just at different levels. So we have to think about when we look at a medication, it's almost like you're looking at a scale, you're weighing the pros and cons. You know, there are side effects to the medications, but sometimes the medications can give you temporary relief. So you're kind of tipping that scale, deciding what kind of day it is. And for a lot of you that I've talked to in the group, it's, you know, it's something that's on your mind so much. You know, like, do I take it? Do I not take it? Do I take it? And I love how, Andrea, you said that you opened it and it was sitting in your lap. Like, it was a really tough decision for you.
It was about 10 minutes. I kept looking at it. It was a little white bean looking pill. And I was driving and I'm looking, I'm like, do I want, and I didn't want to take it. I didn't, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe it'll help. So I took it and it didn't help. Sadly, but. You know.
But when we start working on these tools, then we have less often do we have to waste our time trying to make those decisions. Exactly. And I know many of you in this group do it with Imitrex, you know, at least in the US, for most people, you can only get 9 pills a month. And I used to play that game, you know, okay, I have 9 pills, so I only have 9 days I can take this. Which 9 days am I going to use it on? You know, and it was,
well, thank God I didn't have to have that many that I had to do that. That would have been horrible.
Yeah, but many people do, and they really have, which is phenomenal because they're not good for you, folks. Let's face it. You know, they do damage to the kidneys and the liver and everything else. But it is so hard when you have to decide, is today a day that's worth taking that pill? You know, or do I need to save it for another day? So if that's you, let us know. Put something in the comments and let us know that. And just a couple comments that people have said in here. Michelle commented before when we were talking about, you know, getting rid of sugar and doing things in the program. We mentioned that it's simple, but it's not easy. And that is a very true statement. With thinking about the fact of having migraines isn't easy. Taking pills isn't easy. Living the rest of your life in pain isn't easy. So it's really all thinking about what easy is to you. And for all of the women that are in the Freedom from Migraine method, they made the choice that easy for them was going to be making the decision to join so that they didn't have to think about those things in the future. And Andrea, I'm sure you can tell the group, but you know, we've made it pretty simple for you so that you can just follow a step-by-step approach and have that support that you need on a daily basis.
Definitely. And that I think is what was good for me, because I am not consistent with anything in life. But this was because it was so cut and dry, and it was, you know, the first week do this, second week this, third week, it was, and it was, Michelle's right, it wasn't easy. I don't mean easy, but I think easy meaning that it wasn't like some complex, intense program that was all complicated and medical that you couldn't understand. You know, I mean, easy as far as, wow, that's what I do, you know, and then it works. And it's just like, wow, it works. It works.
There you go. There you go.
That's the thing.
Yeah, we tried to make everything as simple as possible. Why? Because you guys are in pain. So the first thing is you're in pain. Who wants to do a program that is massively scientifically confusing to listen to on a daily basis when your head's throbbing? A lot of you have spouses. A lot of you have kids or grandkids, and you don't have spare time, you know, whether you're working outside of the home or working in the home or working as the home is your work. It's all a lot. So at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of time to put into this, right? We need to be able to get the results and move on with our lives. So we do our best to make it as user-friendly as possible for you. So wonderful. All right. So Andrea, what would you tell that person who is sitting on the fence, who right now is saying, that works for her, it's not going to work for me, I've tried everything, I know that the Freedom from Migraine method is not going to end my migraines? What would you tell that person who's afraid to start?
I would tell them to just do it, because number one, you're worth it, and it works. It truly works. And you know, there's no medicine involved. You don't, it's worth it. It's amazing. When you see changes week to week, you'll just be like, wow. And yeah, that's all. The only thing, I'm trying to look down and see what I wrote, but uh you'd be amazed at how well it works, how easy it is to follow, and how mostly simple, other than sugar for me, was easy to do. It was easy to do. I think the hardest part for me was the group, you know, having like not this group, but having support people. Because I'm in California and we're here. It's just me, my husband, and my 2 kids, and I don't have any family here. I have friends that would definitely help me, but that was just the hardest. That was the time what I had the hardest time with. I think was that. But yeah, I would definitely. All I can say is just do it because it works. It honestly works, and yeah, I was amazed. I mean, even my husband's like, and it's just once you start, like, because I was bad, like I didn't eat a lot of processed food, but I always avoided nitrates and MSG because I know that those are 2 things that aren't good. But you know, I ate my share of packaged food and junk food, you know, but now that I don't do that, like I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and just more natural food, I feel so much better. And it's amazing how easy it is to do that, because then once you change your eating habits and then you feel better, then it's easy to keep doing it. And it's just your body feels better. Eating, like now I just go to Costco and load up the cart with fruits and vegetables and nuts, you know. But yeah, and I had that steak on the weekend. I eat steak like once a year. So, but that was really good. But yeah, I just say like just to do it, invest your money. It's worth it for you to have a pain-free life because you deserve it. You deserve not to have to worry when when is my migraine coming? When am I going to get a migraine? And you know, if are you going to miss out on things? You know, going out with your friends, having a date with your husband, or doing stuff with your kids because you're going to get a migraine. That's not fun to live like that, you know.
No.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. But yeah, you'll get there. I mean, it's been 4 months for me, and you know, I still have a ways to go as far as my exercise, and you know, I mean, there's always room for improvement, obviously, but I feel a lot better. And knock on wood, I haven't for 4 months. I had 2 migraines in 4 months, and the second one wasn't even really that bad. So
yeah, and it's all about slow and steady, right? You know, we're not going to change the world in 4 months. And for many of you watching, think about this. Some of you have had migraines for decades, you know, 30, 40, 50 years. So to see a change in 4 months in the severity, duration, and frequency of your migraines, we can't, you know, you can't ask for much more than that, because you just know that each and every day you're going to build on what you're doing. As you said, you're going to build on your exercise. You're going to build on reducing that sugar more. So each and every day, you're just going to start feeling better and better and increase that threshold so that, you know, let's say hopefully a year from now, when you have that cake or when you have that, you know, sugary treat that you like, you're not going to see the consequences, you know, the way that you're seeing them today, which is phenomenal. And for those of you who don't know, Andrea is a freaking awesome cook. So the food she shares in the group, we are going to miss those recipes. You are not, you are beautiful. We're going to miss those recipes. We're going to miss that food and that steak dinner that you had. It was Father's Day, right?
It was.
Yeah. I was a little jealous that I wasn't in California and wasn't a father to be able to enjoy that. Steak is one of my favorite things, for those of you who don't know, and it looked phenomenal.
It was delicious, actually. And like I said, I only eat steak once a year. It's not a big, I mostly eat boneless, skinless chicken breast because I have a weird thing with meat, but.
And that's okay. And that's another great point too. Everybody that comes in has little different things that they like and don't like, and that they're willing to eat and not willing to eat. So that's okay. We work that within the program. You know, we have a framework and a foundation that we follow, but that's why we have a Facebook group that's private for, you know, the members. And that's why we do weekly calls with everyone so that we can take that program and help you tailor it to your lifestyle. you know, because I'm not going to have
Yeah.
somebody join and tell them you can't join if you don't eat steak and chicken thighs and, you know, whatever
Right.
else every day, because we all have
Yeah.
our own personal
'Cause
beliefs.
I think there's some
and that's okay.
vegetarians.
Yep, we have somebody who's
They're
vegan and somebody who's
vegetarians too.
vegetarian in the group. Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And you always,
Absolutely.
I have to say, Debbie always has like the answers. Like if you're stuck on something and she'll be like, how can, you know, we help you with that? How do you think that could be better? And yeah, she just finds the answer for you and gives you suggestions. And so that's great. That's another great part is you actually have live people that you can talk to when you have issues. I think that's a big part of it too, because when you don't know what to do, and it's not like you just got some kit in the mail and you just have to like read it and try to do it on your own. And then you can actually ask questions. You can, you know, message you or the group, you know, you do the group once a week and you can put your questions in there and, you know, ask for help or ideas, suggestions. Like you said, we do recipes because it's hard in the beginning to try to switch up everything. And not everyone likes to cook. Not everyone can cook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do
Good
think
to
that's the
have that
key.
support.
Yeah, because there are many different migraine programs out there, and I'm sure many of you know that. You know, you've researched them, you've looked into them, but most of them don't have that support. They, as you said, Andrea, they hand you a program and you do that on your own. And then,
Right.
you know, they may have a Facebook group attached, but not a Facebook group that's as active as ours. Ours is very
Right.
active.
And
I've
then
been
you're
sitting here
held
this whole time.
accountable.
Yeah,
You're
and I've been
accountable. You feel
watching
like
my
you're
phone.
accountable for someone.
Exactly.
Someone or two
Exactly.
people, as opposed to if you get something in the mail and it just sits there and you're like, oh, I don't really have to do that. You know, I don't really feel like looking at that today or whatever. But you know, with this, it's like not only do you want to do it, because I have to say I am really sad that that it's over. That's over. And I know I still have the women's migraine freedom group. But yeah, I'm gonna miss everybody because it was a really, really great group of women that yeah, it was just fun. And yeah.
We will miss you too. We will miss you a ton, but we're so happy that we can still connect with you on Facebook. And you were
Yes.
one of those amazing women. And I readily admit, I know I'm a little biased, but I think we have one of the best Facebook groups out there. You know, you women really support each other and are always there. Someone is always there to answer someone's question or have their back or to check in on them and see how they're doing. If you're quiet in the group for a couple days, somebody's going to be calling you out on it.
And where are you? Okay.
Exactly. Checking in on you. So you have that support that you need, which you're not going to get from a doctor. They just don't have the time. You know, they can't do that. That's not what they do. So we're there to have your back. And we're so glad that we've been able to have your back for the last 4 months. You've been
me
a
too.
pleasure.
I'm glad I found you.
Me too. Me too. Well, let's finish this up so I don't keep you too long. But do you have any last words of wisdom that you want to give to anybody before I let you go? I'm just going to double check the comments while I give you a last chance to say anything to them.
No, I would just say, like, if you're on the fence, that you should just do the call with Debbie, check it out. It's totally worth it. You know, people who have had migraines for so many years, we've, you know, spent money on things that don't even work. And this works. And I mean, I really feel like I do this and then I plan on doing like the rest, what I'm doing now, I plan on continuing doing for the rest of my life. So I would love to never get a migraine again. That would be awesome. And I would just say like success doesn't happen overnight other than for those, what do you call them? The unicorns?
Our unicorns, yes. We always have a unicorn here or there.
Yeah, so I guess sometimes it does happen, but it's not overnight. And, you know, it would be great if Debbie could wave a magic wand and poof, you know, our migraines were gone, but that's not reality. You just have to be patient and work at it. And yeah, you'll get there. Yeah, I guess that's it.
Well, that was perfect. That was
absolutely just perfect. Call her. No, it is. I think it's really worth it. And I don't jump into things lightly because I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I don't have income, just my husband works. And that's why I research things. I look into things before I jump in. So I'm glad I did this, I have to say. Honestly.
Well, we're so glad you did too. And you did research. You know, we had a call and then we had a call a couple weeks later. And that is absolutely fine because everybody needs to make sure that that they're ready for this, that they're ready to move forward to their migraine freedom. And when you're ready, we are here. So Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story for everyone else, because I know it makes such a difference just by watching the comments in here. You have quite a few people that are watching from all over the world. We have the UK here today. We have Rochester here. I just lost track of where the other, Cleveland, Ohio, Illinois. So it's so great to see people women from all over the place be able to learn something about your journey. So if anyone has any questions for Andrea, is it okay if they tag you in the comments to this video if they have any further questions?
Yes, of course. I would love to be able to help in some way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Andrea. Thank you everyone for watching today. If you have any further questions, again, just please tag one of us in the comments, let us know. And here's to your migraine free day, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.